Hey YouTube, you are about to watch a message from one of our weekend experiences at Tethered. The weekend experience is a 100% digital event with 100% real people in the chats ready to talk to you, to connect with you, to pray with you. There's also other elements besides just this message, but we want to make this message of hope and truth available to you to help you in your walk with Jesus. If you want to learn more about how to attend one of those weekend experiences, more about who Tethered is, what our mission is, where we're going, and other resources and ways to connect with us, you can find all of that at tethered.online. But for now, we hope you enjoy this message. Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend experience at Tethered. My name is Peyton, and we are about halfway through our What If series. And if you haven't been with us, or if you need a reminder of where we've been asking ourselves the question, what if? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Week 1, we introduced that subject. We had fun with it. We explored the possibilities. Week 2, we talked about why it's so difficult to change. Dramatic action, followed by consistency, followed by momentum. And then week 3, last week, we talked about how you're going to change stupidly easy habits, forming those habits to create exponential growth in our life. And in this message, we will be asking the question, when are you supposed to find time to make the changes that you want to see in your life? We're all busy. I get that. It's a good question. Before we get to that, however, if you have missed any of our past messages in this series, you can find all of those on our YouTube channel, or maybe you're watching this on YouTube. What's up, YouTube family? So excited you joined us. Make sure you tune in to one of our weekend experiences. You're going to get live chats. You're going to get buttons and connections. You can have people there to pray for you. Tons of awesomeness. And if you are joining us live, make sure you invite a friend. Check out the chat. There's a button right there. You can text a link straight to your friend. And trust me, they don't need to have watched previous messages to get something out of this. I'm about to reveal something to you that blew my mind when it came to my time. That we have hidden time locked in our day-to-day 24 hours that we're not tapping into. I'm going to reveal that little secret to you and to your friends. So hit that link, invite them, say, hey, this guy's about to give us some more time in our day. Let's check out what he has to say. And then finally, be sure to stick around for the end of this video. We're going to get extremely practical as we normally do. And you're going to find out how you can get some free coffee in your hand. That's right, free coffee, no strings attached, all for you. Let's begin today thinking of your average day. For the majority of us, that is a day that begins right around 8 a.m. and then goes all the way to, let's say, about 6 p.m. That gives us a 10-hour time block that consists of our day. Some of us wake up earlier, some of us go to bed later or end our day later, but we're just going to take that average time, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Here's what many of us don't realize, though, is that that is the busiest time and the time that we have the least amount control over. Here's what I mean. 8 to 6 p.m., 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., that's when the DMV's open, that's where the soccer games are, that's when your work meetings take place, your dry cleaning needs to be picked up, the dentist appointment is going to be tucked right in there, etc., etc. It goes on. That's when your day is filled. It's pure crazy, those 10 hours, and it's when you have the least control. And so you ask the right question. How am I supposed to change in that 10-hour block with all of these other things that are happening in my life? The answer is to anchor yourself in the 14 other hours. Because if you have 14 killer awesome hours, it's going to be hard to ruin those remaining 10. No matter what hits you in those remaining 10, it's going to be hard to ruin because you've already set yourself up with solid 14 hours. So here's how this all works. Instead of your day beginning, and this is just a psychological thing we have to do, instead of your day beginning at 8 a.m., make it begin at 6 p.m. Because it's from 6 p.m. to the next 8 a.m. that you have the most control over your time. It's whenever you can focus on what actually matters. And I'm going to get to how we can actually take control and what actually matters in the 14-hour block. But for now, I just want you to imagine a line, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., crazy 10 hours. We're gonna focus on the other 14 hours that we have to get the most out of our time. So this is actually a method that's found in the Bible. Jews, they viewed their day from sunset to sunrise instead of the opposite. So that's why in like Genesis 1, right, it would say things like evening, morning, a new day. It began in the evening and it moved to the morning. And there's something to that perspective that we can learn from today. To start your day in the moments that you have the most amount of control, to anchor yourself in positive change. Question for you, 2 minutes on the clock. Do you put a higher priority towards the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. or from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m.? How could a priority shift to the latter 14 hours make a difference in your life? So the question was, when am I supposed to make changes in my life? Well, that's when, from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m., 14 hours of control. And there's two terrific ways to get the most out of those 14 hours. Two, you ready? Number one, sleep. Number two, deep. They rhyme, so they're easy to remember. Let me say it again. Number one, sleep. Number two, deep. Somebody designed me like an image or post it on social media so I can make a t-shirt or something. Sleep deep, sleep deep. All you need to remember to capture those 14 hours, to get the most out of your life, to make the most dramatic change that you want to see, is to remember sleep and deep. In 1879, the average sleep was 10 hours long. 10 hours. Can you imagine getting 10 hours of sleep and not being a teenager? Pretty remarkable. But Thomas Edison changed that for everybody in all of existence. He changed that average in just a short amount of time from 10 hours to 7 hours. Why? Because he invented the light bulb. You see, a lack of sleep links to irritability, anger, depression, mental exhaustion. If you don't sleep well, studies have shown that you don't eat well. You're usually in a bad mood. You have a bad amount of energy. Basically, everything is bad. Tom Roth, he wrote in the Wall Street Journal about the lack of sleep. You know what he said? He said, getting 4 less hours of sleep, it doesn't matter how much you had before, but if you get 4 less hours of sleep, it is like finishing off a 6-pack of beer. Your body is going to respond as if you just chugged 6 beers in one sitting. So whenever you walk into your job with 4 less hours of sleep, it's like you just downed your 6th one and walked in. Or if you're about to fly a plane with 4 less hours of sleep, it's like you are 6 beers in. It's the same response to your body. So number one is sleep. You got to get your sleep. And then number two, it's a little more abstract, deep. What do I mean by deep? So I'm adopting this language from a man named Cal Newport. He has this awesome book that I recommend you read called Deep Work. So Cal Newport, he differs between deep work and what he calls shallow work. So deep work refers to distraction-free, high concentration work that improves your skills, that creates a lot of value in just a little amount of time, and that's really, really hard to replicate. And he differs that from shallow work, which refers to working on these demanding tasks that aren't connected with very little focus. We often do those tasks while we're distracted, we're multitasking. This type of work is easily replicated. Anybody can do shallow work. In fact, most of us do shallow work on a regular basis. So some examples like checking your email every couple of minutes, responding to any notification that pops up on your phone, giving your distractions to social media, Facebook, Twitter, news outlets, and websites. I mean, you just go on and on. We are distracted in our work. We're multitasking, and it's jeopardizing what we can actually get done. The hypothesis of the book is that the ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare at exactly the same time it's become increasingly valuable. We need people who are doing deep, focused work, but we're losing it. Go deep. Go deep. Use the 14 hours to get sleep and to go deep. So where should I go deep? Well, there's 3 places that I'm going to recommend. Go deep in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. Just as the Bible talks about. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind. Let's break down those 3 real quick. We'll start with body. We need to put in the 14 hours of deep focus, we need to put deep focus in our body. This might look like controlling what we eat and maintaining that and eating healthier. This may look like physical exercise. It should at some capacity, even if it's just walking down the road. Because here's what focused work on the body does. It controls our weight, it combats health conditions, improves mood, it boosts energy, it promotes better sleep. It puts a spark back in our sex life. Exercise can be fun. It can be social. There's so many benefits from pouring into our body. So in that 14-hour block, we should be doing deep work on our body. We should also be doing deep work on our mind. You see, God gave each of us talents and creative minds. The very first verse in the Bible, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. God is creator. And we are formed in his image. It's pretty remarkable when you think about it. So we're creative too. So make time in those 14 hours to care for your mind deeply. Maybe that involves reading a book. Maybe that involves spending time in meditation, really just letting your mind think thoughts that you don't normally have time to do. Maybe that involves creating something, molding or art or writing things down. Spend time in that 14 hours to do focused, deep work on your mind. And then finally, we need to be doing deep, focused work on our spirit. Have you made time each day to pour into your spirit? This could be meditation, prayer, reading the Bible, having a conversation with somebody. We actually created a resource where you can read the book of Mark in just under a month. If you want to join that, if you're distracted and all you need for the study is your phone. Like, you don't want to carry around anything. It's easy. It's your phone and a Bible. That's all you're going to need. If you want to do that, just text study to that number on the screen, 844-968-2863. It's a resource for you. But make time in those 14 hours that you have control of to do deep work on your spirit. 2 minutes on the clock. Which of the 3, body, mind, and spirit, is most difficult for you to focus on deeply? So here's how you can leverage your day to get the most out of it every time. Focus on your 14 hours. Right now, we do a lot of focus on our 10 hours that we have the least amount of control. We wake up at 8 a.m., we try to focus, chaos happens, things get out of control, people want our attention, and then by 6 p.m. we're exhausted and we didn't do any deep focus work on us. So instead, start your day at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m., shut out the world and do deep work. Maybe that involves getting deep sleep to start off, and then the next morning, wake up early and capture your day before your day captures you. 6 p.m. to 8 a.m., the hidden 14 hours to do deep focused work, deep work on your body, to go deep in your mind, and to go deep in your spirit. What if you could capitalize on those 14 hours? The 14 hours that are just sitting there, not being used. The 14 hours that we mindlessly watch TV or we sleep in when we don't necessarily need to, whenever we're lazy and getting up in the morning, whenever we're just kind of doing mindless things. What if instead, those 14 hours, we were actively working to achieve those 5-year goals that we're beginning to set? Who could you be in 5 years if you were able to capture those 14 hours? So let's get extremely practical here. I'm going to show you my notes on how I live this out in my own life. Now, this schedule, it works for me. It's my schedule, and you are going to have to find something that works for you. And to do that, you just need to remember, we need to establish SMART goals. You can see episode 1 for that. Specific, measurable, obtainable, realistic, and timely goals. That's going to keep you focused. Episode 2, we talked about it's going to take extreme, drastic force at the beginning, but if we're consistent with it, we are going to eventually enjoy momentum. These habits that were hard at first are going to become easier. And then last week, remember, we talked about stupidly easy wins that are going to result in exponential results. So now that we spent this message talking about the ideal time to make change, I want to give you a peek behind the curtain. So number 1, make a plan. Make a plan. If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. So at 5 a.m., I wake up. I want to start my day before my day starts. I want to capture and get deep focus before my family wakes up. And so I do that at 5 a.m. I have my clothes set out, and the first thing I do is I go to the gym. I have a regimen. I follow it. I know exactly every day of the week what I'm going to be doing at the gym. I get home, I do spiritual reading, I have a devotional that I work through, and I have a set time, 6 o'clock, that I take Arlo on a walk, and then finally after that, I sit down and review what my day looks like. There's no surprises. I know at the times, the schedules, when I'm going to be meeting people, and I did all of this because I had planned it the day before. Number 2, measure your success. So I measure my workouts. I told you I have a journal. I know what I'm going to do, but I also record what I lifted, how far I ran, what I felt like. Maybe you could keep a journal of your daily, weekly, quarterly goals. I do this. I set my daily top 3 things I want to accomplish, my weekly top 3 things I want to accomplish, and then my quarterly goals, larger goals that I'm working towards. And then, I establish some brainstorming text threads to help me work with others in measuring my success and keeping me accountable. Number 3 is minimize distractions. So this involves blocking out time for deep work. Deep work happens within 45 minutes or 2-hour blocks. Somewhere in that range, from 45 minutes to 2 hours, you're able to do deep focused work. So if you want to establish this, block out time in your schedule, in your calendar. Turn off your notifications. I put mine on do not disturb mode. I have it so my wife can contact me, but nobody else can. I turn off the notifications on my computer, and I have time limits set on all of my apps so that at certain times they go off and at certain times they come on. I can't reach a certain time limit on each one. And then finally, I plug my phone in so I don't sleep next to it. So I'm trying to get the best sleep I can, and so I have distract-free sleep. I plug it in, and the last hour or so I spend reading or talking with my wife. And then finally, number 4 is mirror your days. Mirror your days. Ongoing consistency eats short-term intensity for breakfast. Consistency is the key ingredient to change. Doing things on repeat. Repeat healthy habits for 1 month, and I promise you, you are going to notice the change in your life and your production. So a question for you, how are you going to capitalize on your 14 hours this coming week? Father, we are grateful for the model that you gave us in creation of the sun going down and a new day beginning. I pray that we will take advantage of the time that we do have control over. Give us grace to spend our hours each day well. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks for joining Tethered. We believe in next steps here, and so I want to give you 3 next steps. First, write down your ideal evening and your ideal morning. Write them out on paper. If you were to capture those 14 hours, what would that look like? Think of what you need to do to make that ideal week a reality, and then begin putting those things in place. Next, if you want to join that Bible study one more time, text study to that number below, and you're going to get right there. And then finally, free coffee, the thing we're waiting for. Check out the link in the chat if you're watching this live, and you can get your hands on a free coffee on us. Tethered is a hybrid approach to following Jesus. We'll see you next week. We hope you enjoyed this message. If you want to find others like it, just click one of these boxes here and it'll take you straight there. You also want to make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button so anytime a new message comes up, you will be notified and you can go straight there. If you want to learn more about who Tethered is and what this hybrid approach of following Jesus is all about, you need to go check out our website. Just the link to that in the description below. We recognize that people live a slipstream between online and offline, and so we want to help you in your relationship with God to find and follow Him and a community offline and online. That's why Tethered exists. We hope you enjoy this video and others like it. God bless. Have a great week.